Hey, this is Jay.
And this is Cray.
Join us again for another episode of Real Talk on the J&Cray Show. Hey, are you listening? Listen to me carefully. There's an app. It's awesome. It's called Anchor. It gives you absolutely everything and anything that you guys need, all right there in the app itself for free, so you can start your own podcast. You can use your phone or your computer, whatever. It gives you all the tools you guys need. You can make music in the background, in the intro, all kinds of cool sounds, closing sounds. And listen, this is the great part. Anchor is going to distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard like on Spotify, Apple, all your podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere else that you can imagine. They're going to help you get off the ground. You guys can make money from your podcast, and there's no minimum listenership. Anchor. It is the only app for podcasts. Hey, Craven, how are you?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, that's great. So to start off our segment today, we want to talk about Rachel Dolezal. What are your thoughts on Rachel?
Ooh, well, that's a hot topic. Where do I start with Rachel? First of all, I don't think Rachel is a bad person. However, she infuriates me. Being a person who comes from color, and her being a white of European ancestry, I have an issue with her black clown hairstyles and her black clown appearance with a bad, what is that, a brush on tan, a spray tan, whatever she's got going on there. Yeah, that annoys me. I honest to God don't think she had bad intent, but I do think that it's unfortunate that she inferred and lied through omission about her ethnicity. Why even bring it up? I mean, you work for the NAACP, right? But the people that founded the NAACP were not all black. So why did you have to pretend to be black? You know, but furthermore, why was she so accepted? Why was a light-skinned black woman so accepted and welcomed into everyone's arms? You know what I mean? It really makes you think.
No, when you say that far as being accepted by everyone, are you saying it based upon the organizations that she became a part of, or did it make her be, was she more accepted to the movement of the NAACP? Which one are you referring to when you say that?
I think the organization, and they enjoyed using a light-skinned sister to put up in the forefront. I think they enjoyed that.
I think that's a very strong point or accusation as far as saying that the NAACP saw her as being an opportunity for them to help advance the movement or to advance their cause. Or is that what you're saying?
Yes, because see, it's based on appearance. Whether we want to admit it or not, we judge each other by appearance. And therefore, when they see that she looks so much more like them than a dark-skinned sister, they're going to open doors for her wider.
Okay, so you're talking about the organization she became part of, not the NAACP, but the other organizations that she served a part and she met with to help with the improvement of the movement.
No, I'm also talking about the NAACP.
Wow, that's a pretty big statement there.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's true. I feel that anytime you have what appears to be a light-skinned woman or man, and then you have a dark-skinned woman or man, both with the same qualifications, I think the light-skinned woman and the light-skinned man are going to be picked first when they have to intermix amongst the Caucasian grouping of people, because people feel more comfortable with people that look more like them. And I'm saying stuff that's probably angering people, but I'm just speaking fact from experience. I'm speaking about how human nature is to gravitate towards people that are of like mind and of likeness, appearance-wise. So I think it's part of human nature, and I don't think it's anything odd. It's part of nature in general. You don't see giraffes hanging around lions. Giraffes hang around giraffes, elephants around elephants. I'm not saying that black people are with black people all the time, white people with white people all the time. I'm saying when it comes to dealing with certain subsects and sections and groups that are Caucasian, and you have people that are working for brown skinned people, it goes a lot smoother. And it's not as off-putting for the Caucasian people to see a person that has likeness in their features to themselves.
Right.
And Rachel fit the bill.
Right. I agree with that when you're saying as far as the organizations that she was getting with that could have been predominantly Caucasian. I agree with that, but I just have a hard time agreeing with you saying that the NAACP, saying a majority of possibly who she was working with, saw her, as the way that she looked as an opportunity to help with the movement.
I think that the powers that be at the NAACP who decided to hire her and put her in the position she was in said, you know what, she can be an asset, because the way she appears is less off-putting to a group of, Caucasians that we're going to deal with.
Well, that's true. Don't mean to cut you off there, but I think that is a good point. Possibly because they saw that she could probably get indoors where someone of a darker complexion would not be able to go. But I still don't want to rule out the fact that her being probably the best candidate as well at the time, being a very intelligent woman, was perfect for the role as well. But I guess they're kind of getting the best of both worlds, as far as the appearance and the intelligence and the brilliance that we've seen or to believe that she has.
Right. I mean, she no doubtedly is highly educated, and I think that actually was a massive asset. The fact that she graduated from Howard, I think, was the cherry on top of that sundae. Because had it been from Elon College in North Carolina as opposed to Howard University, I think she would have had less of an in. I think the fact that it was a predominantly black college helped her, and the fact that she was so educated, and also the backstory that she had. Her father was a black African American coming from the South. He actually fled the South because he got into an altercation with a white police officer. And her mother was a white woman, an educator. I think that backstory also helped to form an opinion of who she was as a person and a potential leader in the NAACP. So the NAACP said, you know what, let's go with this. This candidate, has it.
So you think that Rachel had a plan all this time? Like, I'll go to Howard, I'll do this and do that. Do you think she has some kind of plan to kind of put herself in a position as she did with the NAACP and, also teaching African American studies? You think that she had a plan to change from her, her natural race to this black race at some point in time? Do you think this always was dwindling in her mind as a plan along the way, or maybe she just came along the way, this opportunity or a feeling had overtaken her that she felt like she was closer to the black race, and that's what she felt that she was within herself?
Let me tell you, it's what I call happenstance. Okay, I believe that Rachel was raised by, I'm trying to find a word here, two individuals that were not within the norm of the populace of society that we live in. Okay, I think they were a little eccentric, to say the least. They were slave masters. I mean that word, and I chose that word in particular for a reason. And they adopted children after they had two natural children. The children they adopted were the ones that were easiest to adopt, the black children. They adopted them and they raised them in such a way that I think was not healthy for the children. And I think that Rachel did not feel that she belonged or wanted to be a part of that family unit, because I don't think that she felt that it was normal compared to other people at her school. And I think that some damage was done to her. And I think when these children came into the family unit as her brothers and sister, I believe that what transpired was a journey down a road where she had never even thought in her mind and preconceived, hey, I'm going to travel down this road to, becoming black. I don't think that was part of her plan, but I think in order to fit in, because I don't feel she ever thought she fit in, I think in order to fit in and bond with these brothers and sister that she had that were black, she wanted to love them, care for them, and be like them and be accepted by them.
So
And I think
I guess I don't like I said, I don't cut you, but you said saying a lot of stuff there, and just kind of want to interject just for a second. Now you said that, so basically Rachel's mother and father would be the blame for what is taking place today, based on the way she was raised, based on the way that her mother and father went about treating African American children that they adopted. It kind of caused her to look at her race as being something I don't want to be associated with. So basically, I think the blame begins with her parents.
I think that it starts at home. Now, am I saying they are the sole acute cause of the reaction? No. I think that it's a flurry of different things and situations and instances that happened that came together, and they coagulated together, and they caused this disturbing phenomena in this young white woman with freckles and red hair. And I think what happened to this Caucasian woman was she felt she did not want to be anything like those two people that she derived from. And I think it's part rebellion, and I think it's part reactionary to protect the children that she fell in love with that were her brothers and her sister that were black.
Now, one thing about that, I think, and this is my own personal outlook on it, and this is real talk. So we're just going to definitely be real and take a look at everything here, because there's so many different things we can pull out from Rachel Dolezal, her family, and her upbringing in her life, and so. But even with the adoption thing, as being a Caucasian family and you're adopting African Americans, I just think that's, I think it's great to want to help children come into a home and be raised and raised in the best way to give them the best opportunities to better their life along down the line. But I think there could be a possible clash of cultures when it's a Caucasian adopting an African American. And if we take a look, it caused a problem within her family herself, because it kind of confused her and wanted her. It made her push herself away from her race based on what she saw. I guess the way that her parents interacted with the African American children, based on how they may have punished them for doing wrong or this sort or that sort.
Well, so, abuse them is what I believe Isaiah said. It was abuse mixed with hardline, staunch religiosity, and they got out of hand, and it was a little overboard.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I'm wondering if Rachel wasn't treated that way, and didn't Rachel have another brother, older brother, Caucasian brother?
Joshua, yes.
And if he wasn't treated that way, then why would they have treated the adopted children that they took into the home to help? Why would they have treated them any differently? I mean, just why would you think? Was there any particular reason why they would have been treated differently?
I'm gonna tell you what I think may have occurred, and I'm not an expert, and I don't know them personally. But what I believe happened is that was that they tried to take these black children and make them successful in the white world, the only world they knew, and they were overzealous. They beat them, and the religiosity aspect came in, and they had to break them down to build them up. And I think that they believe that needed to be done because in the far recesses of their mind, they were raised in a white world. And let's be honest, you think that they are less than you. They're easier to adopt than the white children. And I hate saying that, but that's what I believe happened. I believe whenever something like that happens to children of color, there is a foundation within the person doing the abuse or mistreatment or maltreatment to the child or person. Sometimes unbeknownst to themselves, they just think they're doing what is best. And I think that is what happened.
Yeah, terrible. It's terrible.
It is terrible.
because you have children that believe that, hey, I have an opportunity to get out of this foster home, go into a family, and have a better life, and then they find out that they're coming into a situation where they're going to be mistreated, and the way that they are raised or brought up stays with them for a lifetime.
Well, let me clarify. I believe most of them were adopted as babies. Several were, two of them, I believe, were toddlers. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. However, I do know that Esther claims that they were all black children raised in a white uh, world and family, and they were taught to believe they had skin disorders. In other words, they didn't say you have a skin disorder, but they treated them as such. And uh, it's interesting that even today, uh, Isaiah, before he graduated high school, he was living with Rachel. Rachel raised him, and they didn't fight that in court. And then Esther, as soon as she became an adult, she ran away to go stay with Rachel. It's interesting that that occurred, and nobody really wants to focus on that. They all want to say that Rachel's, a bad person for lying and inferring that she was, an African American or black. And my whole thing is, when you really get down to the bones about this, like I said in the beginning, I'm a little annoyed with her about the black clown thing, but I do think she's a good person. And I do think that raising her brother is a testament to that. And even to this day, he stands by her and calls her mom and loves her. And he's going to be an international attorney. He's at Howard University. He's very successful. And he really flourished with her. So I think that that is a testament to the real Rachel, aside from her pretending that she's, culturally something that she's not.
Yeah, she definitely did a lot of good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But she's also doing a lot of damage at the same time. So it's kind of like,
right.
which one's going to outweigh the other, the good or the bad?
At the end of the day, I think you have to look at it like you're in court. Was there malice or ill intent during the commission of the act? And I don't think there was malice. I don't think there was ill intent. However, to keep perpetuating the lie is very annoying to people that look at her. Her appearance in itself is annoying because
Annoying.
it's annoying because you look at her and, it's frustrating. She's putting on makeup basically to look the way she looks.
Yeah, it is an interesting look, but yeah, I was going to say something, but I probably won't.
No, say it.
I was
This is
about to
real
say
talk.
that Rachel, I mean, she looks like she would probably be more attractive as a mixed woman than as just a Caucasian woman.
I agree with you. I'm glad you brought that up because yes, I mean, she looks cute. I saw the photos of her before, she did her appearance thing, and she would walk in a room, and I mean, I wouldn't even tell you what her description was because it wouldn't stick in my mind. But if she walked in a room now, the hair and the bright smile, the light eyes with the hair, that she's got that flavor going on for sure, and she does look better. But I mean, you don't have to pretend you're something you're not. You can still have your own personal flavor and style, and still be with it, but just you don't have to perpetuate a falsehood is my whole thing.
Yeah, I still would like to see her of age right now as as a white woman, and then we could compare the two. So really that's just my statement based on
Okay.
what I've seen or what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But you said something. I just want to go back for a second. You said something earlier about the NAACP. You said it was founded by some Jewish people,
Jewish
or
couple, a black woman and a black man. Yeah, there were four people who founded the NAACP, and the thing about the NAACP is it is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So this is people of color, and one of the points here is that Rachel is not of color in any shape, form, or fashion. Okay, she is not. She is Caucasoid. Um, you know, not everybody will get this, but I know you will. I mean, I call her a caveman. You feel me on that? Like, so she's straight Caucasian. So I take issue with the fact that you dress up like a black clown and you work at the NAACP. You don't have to be black to work at the NAACP.
Now that's going to be my next question. Uh, did she feel that she had to portray herself in the way that she did to be able to get the position that she got with the NAACP?
Okay, this is where it gets tricky psychologically. I think she got drunk on the attention. Okay. What I mean by that is she knew that she would have a bunch of people. Oh, look at her. Oh, okay, she's mixed. Okay, I'm feeling her. Okay, she's not completely okay. You see what I'm saying with that? She's of color, so that draws attention instantly. And being there at the NAACP, having what she feels is credit, okay, in the colored community, put it that way. And even though we don't like to say colored anymore, but I'm saying it because of color, she has, credit. Like a rapper has street cred, you know what I'm saying? Like she has
Right.
credit. So that gave her a step up in her mind and in reality just a little bit. And with that, she got more notoriety within certain communities. She got elected to the ombudsman community between police and the local black community. And she was the liaison between the black community and the police department, because of her work with NAACP. And of course, because of her appearance, because she's a light-skinned black woman, And so I think that gave her a feeling of importance and doing good, and people are listening to me, and I am accomplishing something here.
Exactly.
And yeah, so I think she got drunk on it. I think it's easier for you to get your foot in that door if you're of color, in her mind. In reality, not so much. People want to see results. The black community is very inclusive. The black community includes people, incorporates, and welcomes in people who have their back. You don't have
Exactly.
to be, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be all this. But for her, she really didn't know how to get a foot in the door. And so
Well,
she did what she did,
yeah, she just wanted to be connected
Right.
with the black race of people, which she was on one of the talk shows, and I think one of the lady in the audience was saying that there was no way possible that she could ever be able to understand the struggle of being a black woman. Now, I understand everyone has their own struggles, but I believe in some cases, there is a difference of struggle between, say, a black man, a black woman, or a white woman, white man. There's different struggles there's different things that have to be that are taken on just based on the country that we are in and the history of the country.
Right.
So that would always be the problem for her. I mean, to want to be displayed is one thing, and to be able to really walk in the shoes of a black woman is something that she can never
let me
really
add
relate
to that.
to.
Let me add to that, because you made an excellent point. Okay, so let's put it like this. Okay, I'll walk into an office and there's a bunch of blonde women sitting there doing their little office duties, and I have an issue with the way I've been treated by this company or whatever. And I walk through those doors and I don't like the way I'm being spoken to. And I don't particularly care for this sea of blonde hair I'm in. And I'm looking around, and yeah, I may get a little loud, but even if I didn't, they would expect me to be loud, because they're like, oh, that ethnic woman walked in here. But now that is a misconception. Well, with me, it would be accurate, because you know me, because I don't play. But that's I'm just being real. But that is a misconception, because not every ethnic person and person of color is loud. Not every female. But if Rachel walked in, she would do what she always did. She would talk in a soft voice, because that's her natural voice. Yet she would look a certain type of way. Okay, you feel me? And they would be like, oh, well, yes, let's see what we can do to help you. Because she was the polar opposite in her disposition. And what they expected from her by her appearance was one way, but she was soft spoken. And that was the opposite. And she used that to her advantage in everything she did, especially with the NAACP. That's why she did so many speaking engagements, because people saw her and saw that she was soft spoken, because she is,
Exactly.
and not loud. And, oh Lord, unlike me, you put me somewhere and I'm going to get passionate about something because that is in me. But she looked like she would be passionate because people have conceptions about women of color. And so that is something that she played on, and she knew it too. But see, to know that and do that, that tells me, okay, as a woman, that deep down, you are not what you actually pretend to be. Because deep down, I believe, woman, that you believe you're doing black people a favor because you actually think you're above black people. I'm sorry, but I feel that deep down. She may not even realize that about herself, but I pick up on it. And I feel that. Now, she does a lot of good, but I still feel at her core, I believe that she believes she's doing black people a favor. I think she thought that all along. She probably,
That's a possibility. That's still a strong statement to make, and it is possible. Um, but I just think that I think part of it is it's all based on from seeing what her adopted African American brothers and sisters went through
right.
in the childhood. I think she felt that she wanted to do something to help the mass of people, possibly. And I don't know, possibly she still feels like she's better because she had the option of choosing what race she wanted to display when she walks out of her house, or so forth. But
Craven, it's
those are
almost,
all.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say one thing with that thought. It's almost as if, say, for example, I say, well, I know where, this is crazy, but just hear me out. I know where there are good regions to plant crops. So I go over to Africa, and I know this one region that these people can plant these yam like root vegetables that they grow and they eat. And I come in there and I'm like, I put on my makeup and act like I'm one of them. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's go over here because this region over here, you feel me? This is where we're going to be successful. Now I'm basically lying by my appearance to these people to get them to listen to me, because they'll only listen to me if I'm black in my mind, because I think they're more primitive than me. So I'm going over there painting myself and making myself look as dark as they are. And then I lead them over to this area, this plot of land where they successfully grow their roots. And they're like, oh, yeah, thank you, thank you. And, I live and pretend I'm one of them. But I did that because I felt they were so beneath me that they would only listen to me if I was just like them. You feel me?
Okay, I think that makes sense. And that's a strong possibility as to why she took on. Like I said, I'm just wondering if she had a plan. If this was just planned out, that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to accomplish X, Y, and Z, which would perfectly make sense, because if she came in as her natural self, maybe she wouldn't have got the respect from her other individuals that were working along with her,
Yeah, our colleagues. Yeah.
other
Yeah.
colleagues.
We could go round and round about this and about Rachel and about people disguising themselves. But we'll never know. I mean, look at my family, for example, and I'm not going to name names, but one in particular that comes to mind is somebody that I love dearly, even though he's passed on. But there was a time where he passed. He passed because he enjoyed the company of certain females, you know, and they enjoyed the heck out of him too. And he could pass, and so he took advantage of it. Now he was a clever, slick cat. I mean, he was, and somebody that I admire, but he never, when it came, there were several incidences where it came down to it and he was like, yeah, okay, I'm colored. That's what they called them back in the day, people who were of color, mixed or light skinned black, color or mulatto. So he'd be like, yeah, I'm colored, and then he'd get the heck out of Dodge before they beat him or whatever, or hung him, from a tree. But I mean, I heard tales about that. And the thing about it is, he never like took it to the point like where Rachel, he never lived like that. But yeah, if he wanted to get with a lady, yeah, he would do that. And I heard stories and tales about that. People do things like that. But when you take it to a level where you think he never thought they were stupid, he just enjoyed the company of certain females. But when you do it to the point where Rachel did it, it's insulting to people when you come to the realization that, well, I'll be darned. You mean the whole time? I mean, even the man, his name escapes me, that was a father figure to her, for a while he couldn't talk to her, he said. He was ashamed, and he was ashamed of her behavior, but he loved her, and so he forgave her. But he felt like a fool at first. He felt like he had been duped.
Yeah, he was heartbroken.
He was heartbroken. And in the end, she was there with him when he passed on, and he still loved her. He loved her children. And she loved that man. And I would have thought that would have been the time where she would have stopped, because the pain is so great when you lose somebody like that. And it would be so disappointing for that person to know you kept living like that. But she didn't. She kept on, because it's the only identity I think that she can accept and that she knows. It's a very, very heartbreaking situation, the whole thing is. And I'm not filled with hate, but she does annoy me with you know, the paint and the hair. I'm sorry. It just, it gets on my nerves, because when you got good hair under there, and you listen, no hair is bad. But I mean, when you got that hair under there, you can grow that out. That's not hard for you to grow that hair out, okay? And you do not have to straighten it chemically or with heat. It's naturally straight, and you got that nice hair. You could do a lot of things with that hair. You do not need to put sew-ins or tracks or, anything else in your hair or wear wigs, but you choose to do those things because you feel that that's part of being a black woman. That's not what makes you a black woman, honey.
Well, maybe she thinks that helps her. I think more so it helps her look the way she wants to look. I think just the hairstyles, the hair itself, really helps. It really helps that with that impression of I'm black. I think that's what it is. Because with her own natural hair, I think it's going to be more challenging to get that, to have that appearance.
Why? She can get a perm. She can get her some ringlet curls, Zulu wrap. She can do all kinds of things with that hair.
She's done a lot of different things with it.
She has. But I mean, when she says, oh, frizzy hair day, frizzy hair, don't care on her Instagram account, I'm like, girl, listen, like, really? Like, I struggle to keep my hair straight. And why I do that? Because, yes, I'm trying to fit into the conforms of society, but I'm just saying it's really taxing on a person. It just kind of annoys me and makes me, I guess, a little, all right, I'm gonna admit it. It makes me jealous that she doesn't have to do all that with her hair. Hair is a big thing in our society, and around the world, hair on a woman is important, and it's your crown. And sometimes, you can feel a certain type of way about somebody who is, got good hair, or what I classify as good hair, workable hair, and they want to act like, oh, my hair's a mess today. I gotta, do some twists, and I gotta put some straight. And look at my edges. You don't have edges. It just annoys me. It just annoys me. It's a personal thing. I know it. You're not a man. You don't get it like women get it. But
yeah, that's true. I'm pretty sure some other women would find it very offensive and just very over the top, very unnecessary. The things that she's done as far as to help with her appearance, looking at her hair, number one.
Yeah. But all in all, I don't think she's a serial killer, and I don't think that she is an evil person, but then again, she was raised by two people that are, they're a little odd, and I do believe that they're, in their minds, they feel that they are better than, I mean, I think it's evident in what's become of the people that came out of that household,
Yeah, they did a lot of damage.
They did. They did.
Just poor Rachel in the end.
You know, speaking of her, it's interesting to me how she is also, she associates herself. It's not just a black thing. I notice now that she's saying she's bisexual. It's a, is she a transracial bisexual woman? You know, with this Pride Week and Pride stuff going on, I noticed that she had put a couple things on social media that she is bisexual. She made that declarative statement, and I was shocked by it.
Now, you sure that was a statement of her confessing that she is, or coming out into the open that she's bisexual?
Well, yes, she actually made the statement, I am bisexual. I had to read it 4 or 5 times.
Okay, I may have overlooked that because when I was looking at it, it is kind of, I felt like she was saying that I'm open to whatever. You never know who you might connect with or who you establish feelings for, or who you can become. I just kind of felt like she was saying that I'm open to
Actually, she did
any
say that
and all.
the energy, energy is energy, she said, but she said, I am a bisexual female. She actually made the declarative sentence.
Wow.
Yeah. So, she's just looking everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's what really kind of, took me there and just kind of said that, this woman just all over the place. She definitely wants the freedom to choose what race she'll be. And then she also wants to confuse people with what how, based on what sexuality she's going to take on or so.
Right. To each his own. We are who we are as human beings. And I say I'm not judgmental, but I am. If you are, transgender, keep that to yourself. I really don't need to know about it. If you're bisexual, that's fine. Keep it over there. I'm not, and I'm not interested. And if you are, transracial, okay, go with God. And arrange with the funeral home before your death, paint my skin or whatever, put my wig on, however you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's just, everybody, to each his own, I guess is what my point is. Everybody has to walk their own path in this journey.
Exactly.
And it's a learning experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just very interesting to take a look at her and everything she's done, everything she's been through. It's just, I know it's great for, from the news was
Media,
definitely,
yeah.
media was definitely loved the story, loved confronting her and just kind of just trying to pretty much tear her apart.
And I think also she is a prime candidate for something like reality TV. And I know a couple studios have shopped her for it. And I wonder if she would do that, if she would take that up. I don't know. But I mean, suffice it to say, I would watch it just out of curiosity, just for curiosity, because I think we all like, a freak show. And I shouldn't say that. That's kind of mean. Let me take that back. But you know what I mean. We're all intrigued by her, whether she annoys us or not. She is an intriguing human. That is for sure. Bruce Jenner is no longer. He's now Caitlyn Jenner. He is a she. That person is intriguing,
Very.
Yeah. This world we're living in, there's a lot of stuff going on that's, people are metamorphosizing before our eyes, and I don't think we know how to ingest it.
Well, I think, a lot of people are taking it upon themselves to push different agendas. And the government itself has come to a point where they're accepting certain type of agendas.
Yes.
But I think with Rachel, maybe she didn't set herself up to be in the position where she is today, but she's one of those individuals who wants to push that people should have the right to choose what race they'll be, regardless of what they were born or naturally are. They still should have that freedom to choose if they want to be Asian or Hispanic or whatever other race there is.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be, and she could be, which I think that's something very strong something very tough there to kind of push and decide what race you are versus what you are originally created and born as.
Yeah, it's it's a strange time and place to be in. That's for sure.
Yeah, we just never know what's going to go on. I mean, we can wake up tomorrow and it'll be something else.
What that something else is I don't know. Are they going to tell us, that Scientology is right? I mean, what's next? I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely don't know, but we can definitely look forward to it and always be, taking an opportunity to, especially with all the different outlets that we have today with the podcast and everything, just to get the information out there, to state our own opinions of how we feel, and to get feedback from the listeners and see how they feel, and see if we can all come to some sense of understanding of this, that, and the other.
Right. And bounce ideas back and forth too. We're just two people having real conversations, and maybe sometimes if someone's out there and they're thinking about these things and they hear us talking, they can relate and they'll know, hey, they relate. I feel that. I feel what they're saying. Sometimes that helps.
Exactly. Was there any other topic or any other thing that we should?
Well, speaking about Rachel, I just wanted to say the interesting thing about Elizabeth Warren and the funny, silly thing about her being a Native American and then turning out not to be a Native American, um, that in itself, it's not getting much press play, but it shocked me that it's not, because that in itself is an example of a person basically using the fact that I'm actually Native American, and look at me. And that's why Trump has been calling her Pocahontas all along. It's a situation that's it's funny to me, that it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, you don't shock me anymore. I mean, there you've got a woman who actually had on her bar exam that she was Native American. She put Native American. She didn't put part Native American. She checked Native American. She didn't put Native American and Caucasian. She checked Native American. So
No, I got a little confused there. Now, I was taking a look at this as well, but I thought that she had proven that she was, and she was waiting to get the $1 million from President Trump. But you're saying that they turned out that she isn't, or
she is not. It said on her DNA results, which I don't know if she had them done professionally in a lab or she'd one of those kits. Sounds like she did a kit. It said there could possibly be a native genetic marker. Well, first of all, Native Americans carry certain markers, and you can tell if someone's Native American. Hers is not. It's trace. It's not evident that is a Native American marker genetically. So therefore, you ain't Native American, sweetheart. For you to make the claim, I mean, what is it? You've got to be 1/5 to get any benefit from it. She's not even 1/5. She's 1,000 something. I don't know. It's a ridiculous number. The Cherokee Nation leader said that he would like an apology from her. It was so embarrassing because she is not of Native origin or derivation. She does not derive from that. And for her to say adamantly that she is Native American on her bar exam, I mean, that in itself is confusing. Like, that would be equivalent to me saying that I am Vietnamese. I am Asian. I am what am I? 25% Asian. Yeah.
I mean, what was her point to even do this? I'm kind of lost.
I believe, and this is only my personal opinion, I believe that she was trying to sway somebody with that bar exam. The bar exam is very difficult, and I believe she wanted them to meet a certain quota, if you feel me. And if we got this Native American over here, took this bar, okay. we'll get funding for this because we got one Native American that passed the bar here. That's what I feel happened there. I feel that that
Interesting.
was, yeah. I mean, because I don't see any other reason to do it. You know, I just don't. And I think that when she was interviewed on the Breakfast Club and they asked her specifically, did you benefit from it? Did you get any scholarships? You know, I think that that was indicative of what they were thinking too, because I knew where they were going with that. And you know, although she was adamant and said, no, I did not benefit job wise, financially, you know, from any of it. And the reason you didn't benefit, you know, in a scholarship or financially is because you have to prove that you're Native American and you can't prove it. You know, before DNA was out, that was before 87 when she did this. So before DNA was, you know, readily accessible by Americans and the general populace, you would have to show a trace from the elders in your family that you had links, you know, and the tribal nation keeps records on that, like the Mormons keep records. So there's no, you know, discerning it. You're going to either be or not be Native American. And I think when you really get down to the nitty gritty on that, she knew at some point that, you know, there would be no way to prove it. So
Just crazy to me.
it is. It, you know, everybody's out to get ahead somehow, some way. Get that little step up, you know. It's just annoying.
Wow. Very interesting.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah, great world, a great, great economy, great everything, really. And just kind of thinking about just another thing to take a look at here as well, as far as with the elections coming up and everything. Uh, Me personally, I think I think President Trump has done a pretty good job. If we take a look at some of the things he's done economically to help with uh, jobs and so forth. But I mean, can you see another 4 years of Trump, or do you think that we're going to take a
I
different
can
change
see
here?
if Elizabeth Warren is running against him, I can see Trump in office another 4 years.
The only thing about Trump is it's just sometimes it's like he was calling her Pocahontas. Like you would never
Right.
expect for a president to say something of nature on that stage like that. So
Well,
that's
let me
that's the difference that we get
let
with
me
him.
put it this way. He's unfiltered and
Very much so.
he's a jackass. He is. But he's a businessman and you can say what you want to about him. Um he's not an idiot. He's not stupid. He may have a mouth on him. But I think that at the end of the day, he sleeps well at night because he knows what he has and he knows what his holdings are, and he's not about to let the United States go downhill.
Not
He
on his
does care
watch.
for the country. He does care for the country.
And I mean, I speak just openly about him. I don't fall under the category of a Republican or a Democrat. I'm just for what's best for the people, the mass of people, and that's every race of people, not only the rich but the middle class and the poor. If there's someone that's going to help change that class from a poor status and probably get them up to the middle class and push the middle class up to the wealthy or the rich, that's what I'm all about. So it doesn't matter if they're Republican or a Democrat. Some people, I think, they get caught up in this Democrat and this Republican side. Oh, I've got to be a Democrat. I'm a diehard Democrat. My family was a Democrat. My mother, my father always voted Democratic. So I'm going to also do that as well. Uh, as I've gotten older, which I grew up in a household where my mother voted for a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what saw when I was coming up. But as I've gotten older and got an understanding of politics, it's all about the people. And I'm going to support whatever side at that time is making things best for the massive amount of people.
Right. So you're not going to do it based on familial history of being a Democrat. You're going to choose to be with whatever party you feel.
Yeah, like if President Trump does something great, and I feel like it's good. It's good for the people. I'll be like, yeah, he did something great. Now, if he did something that's I don't agree with, I don't agree with,
Well, I
because
mean,
when we take on these parties,
mhm.
we kind of open ourselves up to be completely a part of that. Which I know, for an example, President Obama was in the White House, and he passed a law for uh, for gays and lesbians to be able to get married in certain states.
Right.
Now, I know a lot of people that were Democrats and voted for him didn't agree with that,
Mhm.
but it makes it seem as if you're all with that when you say I'm a diehard Democrat, or I'm a diehard Republican.
I see what you're saying there, but however, you can be a Republican and vote Democrat, or a Democrat and vote Republican ticket, whatever
That's true.
serves your needs, But I want to say something. Speaking of people of color, this is crazy, but if you want to talk about something that Trump has done, unemployment records have, they've been crazy in the United States, but African American people that have been unemployed, it's been getting higher and higher. And with him in office, believe this or not, it has actually gotten better and it's fallen. It's like
Exactly.
one of the lowest rates on record. I think it's like 5.9 or 5.8 or something like that, but it's one of the lowest on record. And so for Democratic people of color uh, who want to argue about that, the facts are the facts. I mean, that's an example where you've got who is a figurehead, President Trump, and a lot of people don't agree with him, especially Democrats, but he's actually done some good for the African American community and people of color as far as that goes. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not all what it seems in the media. He's a jackass. He can't control his mouth. Maybe those things are true. He puts spray tan on. We understand that, and he has a comb over. But if you really get down to numbers, he does know what he's doing.
Yeah, for someone that never served on a political office, I
Mm-hmm.
think they're doing a good job as far as his staff. They're doing a good job as far as keeping him, up to date, up to date on what's going on and decisions, the best decisions to make. So, um, yeah, can't necessarily think. I guess there's always something negative to say against what's going on, but just kind of taking a look at the good.
Right.
And then the thing about voting, which we were talking about earlier today, as far as the popular vote and the electoral college vote,
Mm-hmm.
and and just being open here,
And what were you saying about voting?
just my outlook when we're talking about the voting with that popularity vote and electoral college vote, it just kind of gives me a different thought, a different way of looking at as far as to how far my vote is going to go. Now, I know you may feel totally different about it. I know everybody feels totally different about it. Everyone feels you should get out, vote. If you're not voting, you're not helping the cause, or you're not doing this, that, and the other. But I look at it as if my vote is not going to play a role in that final outcome as who they choose for the president or the vice president, then it kind of puts me in a different position or a different outlook on the whole voting system.
Because you yourself want to be able to feel like you make a difference in your vote, right?
Exactly, because if I'm going to get off work, or if I'm going to go do this and stand in a long line, then I want to feel some type of assurance that my vote is helping with that final decision. But I understand that there's someone that's possibly that has a greater outlook or a greater understanding of the candidates and what they could do for the country over the course of 4 years than possibly I can. So I guess it makes sense that someone else, elected official of a state, is going to take take it in and go into it whatever direction they feel.
Take their more informed or decision and knowledge to sway a vote and sway the voting percentage and how it ends up. I get what you're saying. That's a good topic. We need to bring that up and actually have an entire segment, I think, devoted to that, because I think a lot of people don't vote because of the very thing you just said.
Exactly. And I just kind of wanted to throw it out there as we are coming to the end of this podcast. But this is definitely something that we want to spend more time and get more information out on our next upcoming podcast.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting podcast. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. As well. Anything else that you want to say to the people before we close out for today?
Well, no, Craven, I think just that if anyone has any questions or they want to give a shout out to someone, just leave a message with us. We'll get back to you. And I hope they continue to enjoy listening to Real Talk with J&Cray.
Yes, definitely. You guys have a great day.